go ahead and take our seats. We'll get started. Good evening, good evening, good evening. You know, I appreciate everyone's attendance tonight. Earlier I said I had 2 cookies. That was not true. I had 3. And they are wonderful. So if you didn't get one or your swag pieces after I spoke before, make sure you leave here with something tonight. But you know, we're not here for just cookies and swag. We're here because this is an exciting day. This is a launch of a new direction for mobility, a new direction for our community, and a new direction for humanity. I want to be the first, as Eric Stewart, the board chair of the Transportation Authority of Calhoun County, to welcome everyone and thank you for showing up. Tonight is about partnership. It's about new beginnings. I want to first acknowledge the community support. Thank you for your support of the 2024 millage. We gained the momentum and the mandate to build the transit system Calhoun County truly needs. I just want to get that out there first, because this is about all of us, countywide. And we believe that mobility is a human right. We take that seriously as a board, and now we have a staff to execute that. I want to start tonight with showing you a brief sneak peek of what mobility looks like here in our region. Mallory?
To a community that believes in opportunity, that knows we're stronger together, that believes in opening doors, not closing them. We have a message. Let's ride. Let's get to work on time, get to that appointment on time, and get home on time. Let's get our nails done, our hair done, and our errands done. Let's always show up. We're Ride Calhoun, and we're launching bus service, paratransit, and on-demand rides to get you where you want to go. With service in Albion, Battle Creek, Marshall, and Springfield, we're opening doors and paving the way, one ride at a time, with equal transportation for all. Welcome to Ride Calhoun. Let's ride.
Thank you very much. That's a sneak peek at the quality of transportation that we'll get going forward. And I appreciate everyone's attendance tonight. There's a journey towards a new direction in Battle Creek. And I want to introduce Mallory Avis as the TAC Executive Director going forward. But before I do that, I want to introduce the Board of Directors and the team. If the board could stand up. Yep, and remain standing. We're missing Tom Tarkowitz, and these were appointments by all the municipalities that represent those regions of the county. I want them to remain standing because we're serious about accountability. I want you to know who's responsible, who's accountable, and who's serious about mobility in your region. Thank you all. I also would like the Ride Calhoun team to stand up. You'll notice them in their little Ride Calhoun swag. Just wave, please. All right. My BCT folk, come on. Yeah. Yep. So as we move forward, I want to introduce our Executive Director, Mallory Avis. You may formally know her in her former position as the Director of Battle Creek City Transit. And, you know, it's not lost on me that she comes highly qualified. She's been in public service mostly all of her career. She is a transit nerd, okay? And when I say transit nerd, it's in her heart and in her blood that she will stay up all night to make sure that a citizen gets from A to B, or that a routing problem is solved, or that you have the proper equipment installed in your bus properly, or your BC Go, or what have you. I can't say enough about the acumen that she brings to the table, but we couldn't have a better servant of the community than Mallory. This statement about her, She's passionate about building community-driven transit solutions. It goes without saying. The talks that we've had about her dreams for mobility, even before the millage passed, were phenomenal. We couldn't have a better asset to continue in this community than Mallory, and I want to personally, publicly say thank you. You know, we're grateful for your support up to this point, but we need your input. This is the first of many community forums that we'll have where you set the tone for what mobility will look like for you. We have a strategy, we have a direction, we've done a lot of work. And one of my colleagues, Dr. Watson from KCC, said earlier today, we had a lot of hit points to hit, and we hit them on time, on schedule, and you know, we fulfilled as many promises as we could, and we look forward to fulfilling those things in the future. We're here to update you on what's been done, inform you about what's next, and inspire you to be a part of this transformation. It's not a one-way street, no pun intended. It is a two-way street where you participate in the mobility that works for you, the technology that we'll have in the future, what transit may look like in this community for those who work, play, educate, and come here to vacation. You know, last November you voted yes. Your support of the millage made this possible, and we're honored that you trusted us in that. So thank you, Calhoun County. Give yourselves a round of applause. Our mission has always been steadfast. It's to improve the lives in Calhoun County one ride at a time with equal access to transportation, and I hard pause, for all. We take that seriously. Our vision is a community where transportation is never a barrier to opportunity, connecting people through reliable, accessible, and affordable public transportation. We're rolling this thing out, and we're looking to balance those systems and what have you and make it work for everyone. Our core values, these are the things that will always ring true for Ride Calhoun and our board. Equity, accessibility, innovation, accountability, and most of all, community partnership. We can't do any of this without you. That's why we make it part of our core values. So let's keep having dialogue. I love dialogue. It means you're passionate. It means improvement. And hopefully we do not disappoint. I want to welcome Mallory Avis, our Executive Director of Ride Calhoun, to the podium. Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening. Thank you all for coming. As Eric introduced, my name is Mallory Avis, and I have the honor of serving as the Executive Director for the Transportation Authority of Calhoun County. For those of you who have followed this journey over the last 6 years, you've probably heard this question asked in many rooms. Why? Why is the tech needed? Why do we need more transportation? And my answer has always been the same. It's about access. It's about access to employment, education, healthcare, and basic needs like grocery shopping, laundry, and accessing social services. The groundwork for the authority was laid by a series of studies over the last decade. All of those studies summarized the same thing. There is a severe need for transportation in our communities. The most recent study, completed in 2020, identified at one point as many as 17 different transportation providers, mostly private, operating in Calhoun County. All of those providers operating within silos, providing specialized services for certain groups or within certain boundaries. All of them operating typically without coordination, collaboration, or consistency. For public transit services, those were typically limited to the urban cores, the city of Battle Creek, for example, or the city of Marshall. And most of the time, there was no connection between those two cities. What makes this even more difficult is the demographics and socioeconomics of Calhoun County. In Calhoun County, we have higher than average rates of poverty, seniors, and people with disabilities. Additionally, 45% of households in Calhoun County only have access to one or fewer vehicles. 8% of households have no vehicle at all. And yet we had no public transit system to unify these people. In Battle Creek alone, our public transit users identified that 91% of our riders make less than $35,000 per year. 45% don't own a vehicle. 50% are people of color. And more than half rely on our service every day to get and maintain employment. For seniors, they told us plainly they feel excluded. They feel isolated. 1 in 4 seniors said they don't use public transit because it's either too expensive, they don't know how to use it, or they didn't think it was for them. This is why we're committed to building a transportation network that connects Calhoun County. In November of 2024, the communities of Battle Creek, Springfield, Albion, and Marshall made a clear choice. They approved dedicated funding to finally create that unified system. That decision unlocked the resources we needed to be able to build Ride Calhoun. There you go. We know it may have looked quiet, but behind the scenes, we've been building an entire organization, a leadership team, a fleet of vehicles, a brand, and operations plans. By approving the millage in 2024, voters gave us the green light to go ahead and start establishing the legal framework that was required for us to become the recipient of state and federal transportation dollars. We created the governing board, we structured the authority, and we began coordinating with our partners at the City of Battle Creek and the City of Marshall, as well as our partners at the Michigan Department of Transportation and the Federal Transit Administration. With the proper structure in place, we've now been able to unlock additional state and federal funding that Calhoun County previously didn't have access to. This helps us stretch your local dollar even further as we build a stronger, more sustainable system. Ride Calhoun is not intended to be a quick fix or a side project. We are building a legacy, a system that will be here for the next 50 years as Battle Creek Transit was for the first 50. We will have an urban network of fixed route buses and an on-demand flexible service that connects our 4 communities. Everything that we are building is built for long-term reliability, equity, and accessibility. We have placed orders for vehicles, but those things don't happen overnight and they take time to manufacture, customize, and take delivery of. We've began building rider tools like real-time bus tracking, mobile ticketing, and travel alerts. This is, and always has been, about doing it right, not just doing it quickly. We're not rushing it. We're not here to build a patch or put a Band-Aid on a situation. We're here to build a legacy, build a system that lasts and that our community is proud of. We're doing it with your trust, your investment, and your needs at the center of it all. This month, we are launching the Let's Ride campaign. You had a chance to see our video, and that will go live as part of our Let's Ride. Let's show up for each other. Let's move forward together. Let's ride together. We're excited to debut 3 unique modes of service. Our Max fleet is your traditional city bus operating on designated routes and schedules, perfect for the commuter, perfect for the person traveling every day on public transit. Our Flex fleet brings public transit to all 4 communities through flexible, on-demand services that you can book using an app, a website, or over the phone. It's affordable, it's convenient, and it connects you without having to have a car. And our Move fleet provides door-to-door service for eligible riders with disabilities or mobility challenges. This service ensures that users can travel safely and, most importantly, with dignity, whether it's to a doctor's appointment, the grocery store, or a community event. Over the next several months, you're going to start seeing new branding and new visuals, our Let's Ride call to action, and regular updates so that you can stay up to date on what's happening. Soon, you'll be able to use mobile tools to book your ride, track your vehicles, and plan your trips with real-time alerts and service updates. All of this information will be available at our brand new website, ridecalhoun.org. We have listened to your feedback, and our staff and our board are working together to establish a fixed fee fare structure with new fare payment options that keep rides affordable, with discounted fares for seniors, individuals with disabilities, and veterans. As Eric said, we have hit every milestone on time. We know that it seems like it's been quiet, but all of the things happening behind the scenes have fallen into place perfectly. As of October 1st, we are officially Ride Calhoun. Thank you. Thank you. Every step we have taken since this millage passed has been focused on building a safe, inclusive, and lasting transit system from the ground up that can't happen overnight. But we're also not done yet. There are still many things to come over the next 12 months. You're going to see evolution and change as we rebrand, update vehicles and routes, as we implement new technology, and we continue our community education. We want all of our residents to know how, where, and when to ride. We encourage you to stay involved by joining a board or a committee, by coming to our public meetings, by participating in our surveys, but most importantly, by using the service. We want to hear from you. So now it's your turn. What questions or ideas do you have? We're here to answer your questions and, most importantly, listen to what you have to say. We have our board members, Vivian and Maya, have microphones. If you would raise your hand if you have a question, we would be happy to answer that for you. Yes, sir.
You guys have talked about unlocking more funding from the federal.
Hold on one second. She's
Just a
coming.
moment, I'm coming.
Yep.
No, not good.
Okay. So you had talked about unlocking new funding for your transportation project. So outside of the $25 million that we've approved for the millage and on top of taxes that we already paid to go towards the BCT transit, what more have you secured? What's your plan to do with that money, and how much did it cost to pretty much rebrand a bus? Because I know to wrap a car, it costs a couple $1,000s, and you start to stack that up across all your vehicles. You don't need to do that right away. Like, I've helped grow brands from the ground level up, and the last thing we did was invest all that money into marketing material. Sounds like a waste of money.
I appreciate your feedback. The additional funding that we've secured is primarily federal and state. The millage that voters supported funds the gap in the federal and state funding. So roughly 50% of our operating comes from state and federal sources, and then the rest comes from local sources, including fare box, advertising, and things like that.
What's the actual dollar amount?
Our average annual operating budget is between $10 and $12 million. The millage is about 4.7.
And then on top of that, how much did it cost to rebrand those buses? Because that's not an operational cost, that's a choice.
Correct, we received a grant to fund all of that. Most all of our capital purchases are funded through grants, and the millage supports primarily operating.
So I know when I receive grant money, I don't necessarily just use it for marketing material.
Yep, this was line item for marketing.
Reinvested this money better into the infrastructure, because based on what I see, nothing has changed.
I'd be happy to discuss that more with you at the end. Yeah,
Can we just
Yeah, our grant is for capital projects, and that was what the line item in the grant was for.
So capital projects means you need capital to fund these projects. Your entire system is a project.
No, it means a physical asset, capital.
So basically everything, your system is an asset. You're just investing your money into marketing versus the operational cost itself.
The line item in the grant was for rebranding all of the vehicles.
So how much did that cost you though? How much money is being put into the rebranding of a vehicle?
The vehicle wrap is about $10,000.
How much for a bus?
That is the average between all of the vehicles, yep.
How many buses did you get?
We're rebranding our entire fleet, that's about 24 vehicles.
24,000, how many vans? I know you said you got 2 more services, so you gotta pay for all of that.
Nope, that's all inclusive, yep. That's all inclusive, the 24. Yep, can I take any other questions? Yes, Vivian?
Do you have any idea when the last run will extend beyond 315, please?
That's a great question. 2 months ago, our board held a workshop where we sat down and prioritized what stages of service do we want to implement first. So for example, does our public want longer hours of service first or more days of the week first? Some of that takes ramping up and hiring staff to be able to accomplish that. So we have heard feedback that people would like to see longer hours, and that's going to be our first priority for fixed route service, followed by longer hours for our demand response systems. Then we'll begin to phase in weekend service. Yep. What other questions?
I know there's different ways you can do things, like on weekends, instead of having all the buses out and everything, where you can combine the routes like southwest, northwest, northeast, combine them where it's less wear and tear on the buses, and, give them a little bit of time. And also, one thing, if we could add an hour right now, because we're losing an hour from 11:15 to 12:15 for lunch. And it's a tight squeeze. And also, there's another concern, is Southwest Capital Bus. That is constantly packed, and with the recent, I ride it quite often now, a lot of wheelchairs, a lot of strollers, a lot of other things, because that bus is constantly packed. What is going to happen to that particular route? Because that goes out to Walmart and all
Yep.
that.
It's like you've read my mind.
Yeah, because that's something that,
Yeah. So-
it needs attention.
Yeah, and I have been very pleased to hear the radio traffic in the office lately where the Southwest Capital Bus is calling in that, they're standing room only. And that signals to us, that the community is ready to start riding public transit again, right? Our ridership is returning, and we are looking into what it looks like to increase the frequency of service. So just as you mentioned, combining routes, over this next year, we're going to do a route analysis, and we're going to look at our routes and determine if they need to be realigned, combined, or adjusted, and then how we can increase the frequency of that service as well.
And also, I was part of the 2019, when they were going to change the routes and stuff. And that was money wasted. That was $50,000 that the city put towards you guys to change the route.
So that was one of the transit studies that we talked about. So that was one of many transit studies done, where ultimately we decided the need is greater than what any one organization can serve. Yep. What other questions? Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Mallory, I have a question.
Yes.
I work in Penfield Township. I live in Lakeview, Southwest Capitol. I am moving this weekend to Penfield Township. I've been riding the bus now for 4 years. What do I do? Do I lose my job? What?
At this time, if you are riding the fixed route bus, At this time, we are not changing the boundaries of the fixed route service.
So I still would be able to get my rides?
Yes, and if that were to change, you would have significant notice of that change.
Okay, thank you.
You are welcome. Yes, ma'am.
I noticed that the buses, all the stops are still just Battle Creek, correct?
Correct.
So there are no county-wide buses.
Correct. There is not going to be at this time
Okay.
fixed route service outside of Battle Creek and Springfield.
And how far in advance will individuals need to request the RC Flex rides, as now there's a significant delay? Whereas it's kind of talked about like it's an Uber, but
Yeah.
it's absolutely not even close to that, because anyone that I've ever had to recommend there has never been able to get a ride.
It is right now very difficult to travel impromptu. The system fills up quickly as an example of the need for transportation out there. We have strategically behind the scenes made some changes internally on how we release the vehicles within the app. So if you have used it recently, you may have noticed a slight difference in availability as we make some vehicles available the same day. So we don't allow people to book on those in advance, and we're going to continue that methodology going forward. The difference from what you've experienced previously to what we're growing as with RC Flex is that the BC Go pilot at max, just this last year, had 5 or 6 vehicles on the platform. With RC Flex, we have budgeted for 25 vehicles on that platform.
Okay.
Hello.
Mine is main post. I saw from the old route map to the new route map on the website, there's a change. When is that going to take effect?
We have not made any changes to the routes. We will go back and we will take a look at those maps to see if there's been an error in the map
Okay.
design itself.
Okay.
But we have not made any changes to the fixed route service yet.
Okay, because I'm just like,
Yes. And I think the maps that are on the website right now are temporary. We're working on more clear and easier to understand maps.
okay,
Yep, those should be on within the next week or so.
okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yes, sir.
All right, my name is Bryce Stanislaw. I have a small business here in Battle Creek, and I've been using BC Go for my employees and friends for transportation. And I have noticed it's been easier to get rides the next day or even the same day. So where before it was taking 2 weeks
Yes.
planning, so I do appreciate that. But how soon do you expect weekend service for the RC Flex, and how soon do you foresee the fixed bus route increasing to the evening so people can get home from work and weekend routes?
Yeah, our goal right now is within the next 6 months that we have expanded service hours before we start tackling the days of the week. We need to make sure that we onboard staff, appropriately train, and that we don't rush the process of trying to get service out too quickly, making sure that it remains quality, safe, and reliable. So I would expect that within the next 6 months, you'll see longer hours of service, and then the next 6 months after that, we'll focus on days of the week.
And how soon should we watch for the app to change to a different?
That's a great question. I was hoping somebody would ask that. So we are in the process of implementing new technology across the entire fleet. So that is a complex procurement process that requires us to go out to bid for different technology vendors. That is prepared and ready to go. So our hope is that about the time we run out of funding for BC Go, which is still funded through the Michigan Department of Transportation, about the time that funding runs out, we will be switching over to the RC Flex app. In the meantime, you may see some changes to the way the BC Go app looks, just so it doesn't cause confusion for passengers. And then we're working on some communications so that people understand BC Go and RC Flex are going to be kind of synonymous for a moment.
And what's the best way for community members to give their input and to stay in touch, to fill out surveys? And
Absolutely, ridecalhoun.org. You can follow us on all of the socials, YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn.
Thank you.
I see more questions.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Let's see, a few questions. What if we don't have internet or don't have social media?
I'm sorry, can you say that again?
And what if we don't have internet or don't use social
What if you
media?
don't have internet or social media?
Yeah.
Do you have text services where you could get text alerts or updates?
yes.
Yes? So we are working to implement a text platform where you can get service updates and alerts, and you would be able to subscribe to that. If you wanted to stop into the office, one of our staff could help you get set up with that.
Oh, also, are there going to be Penfield Springfield any new stops added where there isn't any now?
We're going to wait and see what that study looks like. So over the next year, doing that route analysis will help us identify some of the routes that are overserved and or underserved so that we can better align the system. So over the next year, you'll see some proposed changes, but we're going to be sure to include the community in those changes and seek your feedback during that process. I know that you use our system often, so we'll make sure that we communicate that with you.
Also, is when the closer leaves, is that going to change or is it still going to be the same?
Did you say the closer?
Yeah.
The closer route? Hopefully we won't need a closer route anymore because our hours will be longer, so you'll be able to make that final connection.
Oh, because it
Yep.
says on here.
Yeah, so right now
3:15.
that closer route will stay.
Right, but there's a thing on the buses that says it leaves downtown at 3:45, but it says 3:15 on here.
The website,
No, there's a thing on the bus and the,
oh, on the infotainment screen on
Yeah,
the buses?
on the bus, yeah.
The infotainment, that brochure is correct.
oh,
Yep,
I see.
yep, we'll get that updated on the infotainment screens if
Someone
it's
won't
not
that-
correct.
The bus stop, won't that depend on whether the companies are willing to pay to have stops there or something like that?
Yeah,
There are
any business that's interested in contracting with the authority can reach out to us for that.
Right, but
Yep.
if they're not, then there probably won't be a bus stop there, right, if they don't want to, right?
Yep, they can reach out to us and we can talk about that.
Uh-huh.
Yep. What other questions?
Hi, you've heard me say this before, but I just want to pat y'all on the back, or pat yourselves on the back. As somebody who works with people with disabilities, I love, well, now I can't say BCT anymore, but but I just want to say and I just trained somebody very recently on some of the bus routes and everything. First of all, if you've never ridden the bus, and there might be a few people in here, please do yourself a favor and do it. The drivers are all phenomenal. The routes, you guys have done the best you can with what you've had all this time, right? So, and the freedom that opens up in a human being when they actually have the power to move from one space to the next, I love that about my job. Last I knew, you guys were struggling to fill some driver positions. Is that still the case? And then how do you approach that now?
So at this point in time, we have frozen driver hiring so that we can make sure this transition is smooth for staff and residents alike. We want to make sure everybody is up to speed, trained, all of our internal team has their questions answered. And then once we kind of have our feet under us, we're gonna start hiring drivers again. Really, most of the growth under Ride Calhoun will be seen in the non-CDL vehicles. So increasing that flex fleet, which in our history has been a much easier position to attract people to. Driving that big 40-foot bus is intimidating, right? So we are focusing on some of those non-CDL positions and training those individuals and getting them up to speed. If you haven't seen some of our newbies out there already, they're wrapping up some of the end of their training. Let them get situated and then we'll start hiring again.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Do you know anything about people wanting to ride the bus on Saturday or Sunday?
Yes, and I think, realistically, we recognize that people do want weekend service, and then it gives people independence on the weekend as well. Our goal is to increase hours and then move on to days. You will see more van service available on the weekends, probably before you see the fixed route service available on the weekends. So our service plan is that it will be the RC Flex service available on Saturdays and Sundays, including early mornings and late nights.
When is it supposed to start?
That, we're looking more 6 to 12 months for the weekends. Yes. If you want to leave your information with the front, we'll be sure to keep you up to date on when that service is rolling out. Yes, you're welcome.
Mallory,
Yes.
what about the Walmart corridor and all those jobs and the shopping and the doctor's offices that are out there that needs to be?
Yeah.
What are your plans for that?
So at this point today, we have not changed any of our fixed routes. All of those are going to continue to serve the same corridors and areas that they're serving. And that includes the Southwest Capitol route that currently serves Walmart and Meijer. Yep.
This is just another time frame question. Is there any thought as to if there will be 24/7 RC Flex service at any time? We're in a community with that would benefit from that.
You know, realistically, I think if there's an opportunity and a demand for it, we would explore that absolutely.
What do you mean by demand?
If we see a demand where people are requesting rides at times outside of our service, or the feedback that the community is giving us would support the cost of additional service late night or 24/7, then we would absolutely explore that.
Okay.
So I want to add to that and then dive into a new question. So how do you submit a request for a time that's not available? And then from there, if you have worked for BCT, don't you already have the research and the studies needed to implement change, or did you just forget everything from that experience?
Our service area is much larger now, so expanding service hours or days of the week would mean expanding service hours or days of the week for 4 cities, not just one.
But it sounds like they're all doing it on an individual basis for themselves over there, whereas we're focused on Battle Creek.
Nope, Ride Calhoun serves all 4 cities.
Yep, I understand that, but Marshall people are paying for Marshall, Albion's paying for Albion. People are paying taxes to support their area. You're just encompassing it all as one, but at the end of the day, we're here to ask questions about Battle Creek. At this point, you haven't given us any changes. You haven't said anything about timelines. 6 to 12 months is very vague. There's no action in it. What are you going to implement in the next week, 2 weeks? What's the next 3-week plan?
Our millage supports our entire system. Our community spoke. Our proposal was for the entire jurisdiction. And so our focus is not just one city, but the collective 4 communities that have chosen to opt into this authority.
Yep, I understand that, but I'm not focused on Marshall right now. We're focused on Battle Creek. So at this point in time, what changes and what plans do you have to implement in the next 2 weeks that could better impact our community?
We do not have any changes planned for the next 2 weeks.
That's great.
Thank you.
Yeah.
This piggybacks off of one of the Walmart questions, actually, that my understanding is Emmett Township hasn't bought in, so is it also my understanding that RC Flex would not pick individuals up in Emmett Township?
So our RC Flex service will mirror the fixed route service. So it would be restricted to those kind of shopping centers, but not further than that for RC Flex. We're going to continue to serve the areas that we currently serve on the fixed route system, because we recognize that our residents in Battle Creek who are paying the tax for the service want to get to those destinations. They want to go to Walmart and they want to go to Meijer.
We also don't want to pay for other people that aren't going to opt in to use it.
Yeah, so we're not going to their residences to pick them up. We're going to the businesses that are there to drop our residents off.
Got it.
Yep.
And then so that sticks directly to the fixed route just in Battle Creek, correct?
Yes, so everywhere that the fixed route currently serves, so there are small portions of Penfield, Bedford, Emmett that are served currently by the fixed route. We are not changing that today. We are going to maintain that today on our fixed route system, and then the RC Flex will have those same boundaries for the city limits.
Okay.
So Mallory, I have a couple questions. One, I'm sorry to be your pain. when do I get tangible, hard copy routes to train with? And the second, we talked about a money stream because all of them are different. And we looked at a or I know we talked about like a monthly pass by where it could be interchangeable. Is that in your plans? I have no complaints right now generally. Except
Yes.
for the 11:15 to 12:15, I can't wait for that to come back. But it's the schedules that I need to be able to hand people and say, here's what we do. So when is that one coming?
Great news. So if you've been to the website recently, you may have seen route maps that look very similar to what used to be on the BCT website or system. We are redoing those so that they're easier to understand. They provide direction of travel information, right? So right now, the kind of thick black lines don't really tell you what direction the vehicle's traveling or what side of the road to stand on. We're fixing those things. So as soon as those are available, I will make sure we reach out to you and get those to you. In the meantime, you are welcome to take as many of the brochures that we have that you would like. And then what was the second question? The fare payment. So yes, we are changing our fare payment media. So we are right now exploring electronic fare payment options. So whether that be a reloadable card that you can purchase and tap, or that a caregiver or an organization could load funds onto for you, or open loop payment, where you can tap your phone, your watch, your debit card. And then for, again, keeping in mind, part of our core values is that equity piece, recognizing that not everybody can afford a pass at the beginning of the month. A $60 bus pass may not be feasible. So implementing something called fare capping, where as an individual uses that same fare payment method, the system tracks, and when they've reached the amount of what that monthly pass would have been, they're capped. They no longer get charged. So they still tap their card, but they no longer get charged.
So question, because sorry.
Yep.
So if I'm riding the bus and there's a $60 fee for the card, so if I'm riding twice a day at the regular fare or more, once I get to a total of the $60, then it'll.
You would ride free for the rest of the month. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. It's called fare capping. Yep. And that is our goal.
Sister Mallory,
Yes.
I think you've done, you and your board and your staff, I think you guys have done a wonderful job.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
I also believe the buses are beautiful.
Thank you.
Your marketing is good.
Thank you.
And the statistics that you that you called off, particularly for black people, minorities, they need to get from A to B and they need to look good getting there. So I want to thank you. I know this is not easy to do, to make the changes, but it looks like your board has hit every point. You guys have hit every point, and we're going to support the success of this change. So keep your head up, forget the nitpickers.
Thank you.
All
Thank
right?
you.
We're supporting you.
We appreciate it
All
as a
right.
team. Thank you.
If I might, a couple of questions. One following up on the last question with regard to the cap, is that only fixed route or is that also for flex?
That would only be on fixed route for right now,
That makes sense.
but we are exploring other fare payment options for the flex service as well.
Okay, thanks. My more important question for me is with regard to multiple riders. If I have a disabled family. We don't have transportation. I'd like to be able to take my kids to the zoo or things like that. Is BC Flex going to be an appropriate thing to use?
Yes. So part of the reason why we do not have a new fare structure to show you today is because our board is considering exactly those things, making sure that families can travel together without it costing you $25 to get to the zoo. And so we're really taking the time to make sure that we hit the nail on the head with where our fare structure is at, that we have the right discounts in place for seniors, people with disabilities, and veterans. And then we take the time to get that feedback from you before we implement that fare.
Oh, if I can ask one more, thank you for saying that. If I can ask one more, now I take it the BC Go app will be completely gone at some point and be replaced by the Flex app.
Correct. So, go ahead.
I'm sorry, with regard to the scheduling, the BC Go app is so incredibly frustrating because of basically making your request and then waiting to get a kickback of whether your request was approved or not. Is the next app going to be something more along the line of maybe like an actual day planner or hotel schedule where it shows you the slots that are already taken up and only shows you the empty slots that are available?
So I don't know that that technology exists, but I do recognize that there could be improvements to the BC Go app. The BC Go story is a great one. If you haven't heard it before, it started as a pilot with 2 vehicles on the road, funded at 100% from MDOT, because we were saying, hey, let's test this idea of a countywide transit system. It ended up blowing up and far beyond what we could actually achieve for ridership. So, for example, more than 250,000 trip requests have come in, and we've only served about 55,000 of those. The demand was far greater than what we ever anticipated it to be. And so our app, when we designed it, was a pilot. It was intended to be a pilot, and here we are 4 years later still running that pilot, and MDOT still continuing to fund it because they recognize the demand in our community. We know that that app is not great. We hope to have an all-encompassing app where you can manage all of your services within one app. So for example, you could take RC Flex from Albion into Battle Creek and then get on the fixed route bus in Battle Creek and get to your final destination. So one app that can do multiple modes of service. We know that technology exists. I'm not sure if the technology exists to be able to see availability and book based on that availability.
I just spent too many years in hotels to think that is possible.
Yeah, yeah.
That's the way a hotel
But
schedule usually works.
all of the people who will be reviewing those proposals and demos from the technology company are in this room. So they'll help me remember when we're reviewing those demos and those proposals, they will help me remember that we're looking for something that shows that.
Cool. Hopefully some of them have worked at a hotel before because most of their front desk systems, will do that. They
Yes.
kind of show you a calendar and will show you if it's available or not.
Yes. We'll keep you updated on the progress of that.
Well, I'm glad I brought it up then.
Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, Mallory, I want to say this since I've been riding the buses. And that I just want to compliment you doing a beautiful job. And I thank God every day for the bus system, because if it wasn't for the bus system, we wouldn't have transportation. Because ever since, the cabs shut down and everything, that was my backup. But I am thankful every day to ride these buses. And I do have a question. Will we still be able to use the same bus passes?
You will. I'm glad you asked that. We will continue to honor all of the existing BCT passes that are out there. We know that there are thousands out there in circulation, right? We have organizations that purchase them, hundreds at a time. So you can continue to use the BCT pass that you have in your pocket, but as you go to purchase new ones, they will say Ride Calhoun now moving forward.
And they'll be the same price?
They'll be the same price, correct. They'll just look a little different. They're orange now. Yeah.
I love it.
Yes, and thank you for sharing your story. We see you, we hear you. We are glad we're here for you.
Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Love you.
Thank you.
I got one more question.
Can we turn that mic on?
It's very.
Is that on?
Let's
Here,
try
you
to-
could use this.
Okay, now I got it working. This is one question. I see a lot of the riders, especially the homeless, ride it all the way around and stuff all day long. And they're also drinking and doing all kinds of crazy mess on there. The drivers only got so much time and energy. Will you support the drivers to kick people off longer than a day for being a total SOB? Because that's something that I talk to the drivers. I'm on the Calhoun County Connects Health Fair VA stand down, and also I'm a COC member, Continuous Care. I'm the homeless representative here in town. And I've seen this on many of the buses, you know, especially the hour buses like Southwest, VA, and, you know, where the guys go on there and sleep and the girls, or they just sit there and drink. I just need I want the drivers to have a little bit more support for backup, because these guys, you know, will do it. And I don't see no repercussions for the rider, you know, longer than just that day, because they'll just go back and do it again the next day. I like to see some a little bit more where support is to the drivers and to the people who are actually riding the bus.
Yep. So one of the great things under our new authority structure is that we have the resources to add additional positions, including supervisors, road supervisors, so that we can support the drivers when they run into difficult situations or have difficult passengers.
And also work with the Battle Creek PD, the county PD, Marshall, Albion.
Yep, we have
work with that kind of, have that working relationship.
Yep, we do, and we are very lucky to have the support of BCPD. I know that I could call up the chief right now, and he would probably answer. So we want to make sure that we balance that, and that our drivers feel supported, and our customers are following the code of conduct. Yep. I think we might have time for one more question. Where? I saw so. Oh, go ahead.
I've got one. Is there a way, instead of just having the passes be paper, do like a plastic?
Yes,
pass
that is
more
exactly what we're
stable?
looking at doing. A reloadable fare card?
Well, I'm just saying, even if they're punch cards, more stable.
Yeah.
Because I've been laminating mine at work so it lasts the 48 punches.
Do you come buy them in our office, or do you buy them at City Hall or Full Blast?
I believe one of my coworkers buy them for me, and I think it's at Full Blast.
Okay. I was gonna say you're welcome to swing by, and we can laminate it for you in a kind of a thicker stock.
Okay.
And that will keep it, especially if you're buying a longer pass, it'll keep it a little sturdier longer.
Okay.
Yep. One last question, go ahead.
A couple of brief questions.
Of course.
Kind of expand on what he was saying. When I go to the bus stop downtown, the main terminal, there's often people down there smoking pot right there inside the shelters. Will they have any effect? I see no smoking signs, but I mean, does that apply to marijuana as well?
Yes, it does, and we are not the police, unfortunately. We're in a position where we need somebody else to enforce some of those things. I would never want one of my drivers to put themselves in a situation that could get dangerous, or where they have to act as a person of authority.
This is a question.
Yep.
And then the other one is possible improvements to the stop at Walmart's.
Yes.
Walmart's has one of the busiest places in town that bus stops at. And they redid a lot of the parking lot in some of that island last year, I believe. But they didn't make like a handicap access to it or anything. So when the bus stops there, they put them up on the island, or they have to pull out in the driveway a long ways so that they can get in and off.
Yeah.
And then in the wintertime, it just gets filled up with snow. So when they drop you off, you got to get over the snowbank, and being disabled, that's very difficult.
Yeah. Unfortunately, that happens all too often, right? Transit tends to be the afterthought in planning, whether it's private or public. And so we've run into that situation in multiple places where they forgot to make the improvements to the transit stop while they were making other improvements or include us. I'm hoping that those relationships change and that, although that is private property, that they see us as a partner and they're willing to make some improvements to that bus stop. But we do have that, as well as the Meyer bus stop, on our list for proposed improvements.
It was just a very busy stop.
It is. You're correct. Our drivers have brought up the same concern. Yep. Yep. I'm going to turn it back over to Board Chair Eric Stewart. Thank you all for coming tonight. Please, thank you guys. Please do not forget, we have a survey at the end. We'll also post it on our Facebook page and our website. So if you could please give us feedback about tonight's event. Thank you.
No, give Mallory another round of applause, please. And that's not just for Mallory. She's doing a wonderful job. I did not lie when I was saying that she is a transit nerd. She cares about each and every rider. She manages a facility where we have folks that are there for you to try and solve transit problems. One of the first things that I said when I came up here was, this is a solution for humanity. If you have any other questions, comments, or what have you, go to the Ride Calhoun website. Go to the frequently asked questions. Enter into the frequently asked questions, your question, and within 24 to 48 hours, we will respond and make that a public piece, okay? That is our commitment to you in terms of accountability. Now, a couple of things. I wouldn't be me if I didn't have a couple of things. I love the questions. I appreciate Pastor McCoy's words, but I invite the nitpickiness. I can answer the question that, what tangible things will you see in the next 2 weeks? Go outside and look at the vehicles outside. Those will be on the road before the end of this week. That's the tangibility we're talking about. We're serious about this work. We're not going to get sucked down a rabbit hole and get distracted about providing you quality transportation you deserve that gets you over that berm, that gets you to your job, that gets you to be educated, that gets you to the other side of the county to have fun with your family. This town deserves the quality that you will see in these next steps. And I'm sorry, as the board chair, and the board can skewer me for this, I'm unapologetic about helping humanity. I am today, and I always will be, and that's a personal statement for me. Building what we've built so far is not like setting up a lemonade stand and start selling lemonade. It doesn't happen overnight, ladies and gentlemen. It costs money for progress. We plan on being equitable partners with the community, and we also plan on being good stewards of the dollars that you invested here. Amen. We take that very seriously. So I want to say that I take every question seriously. Nothing's out of bounds. I invite the hard questions because that makes me give valuable solutions as a board. That's how we operate. And that's what Ride Calhoun is all about. I appreciate you staying. I appreciate your attendance on behalf of the Board of Directors of the Transportation Authority of Calhoun County and the Ride Calhoun staff. Let's ride. Have a good evening.